it is a scary time. It really is. Yeah. I heard
I sit here. Yeah.
I heard a statistic this morning that Kamala Harris outraised Trump basically 3-1. She raised like $360 million. He raised like 125. And first of all, it's disgusting that kind of money is going toward elections in the first place. But y'all do not get complacent. That's all I have to say.
So let's talk about the money, because we are jumping around. Do you know ActBlue is? Because we're talking about campaign finance reform.
Yeah.
Right. Or campaign finance rules. ActBlue, which is a nonprofit C4, just got caught red-handed. How do you like that? ActBlue, red-handed. So they've gone through 12 years of data, and they have found now ActBlue, it's a Democratic fundraising platform. They have found that all these anomalies. Now, again, it's not a smoking gun yet, but donations greater than the donors could afford. They found in Arkansas, Florida, Missouri, Texas, and Virginia. They used elderly people. They went suspicious trends like hundreds and thousands of donations from people at the same person at $2.50 each.
That's right. And what is amazing is that they've been able to get away with it for as long as they have. I mean,
2002.
You know, what do you always say, Robert? What do you always say? Follow the money. So when you see thousands of dollars coming out of a trailer park in, rural West Virginia, or, where fill in the blank, it raises suspicion. And I've seen the interviews. I've seen them knocking on these people's doors being like, hey, would you have donated $1,000 to this person? And they're like,
well, so there's you're 100% correct, but there is an additional issue that people need to understand about this, and you have to go back to 2002. And I was there. I was in D.C. I was working on the Bush campaign. They passed something called McCain-Feingold Act, also known as BICRA, which was the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, and allegedly this was going to get money out of politics. but what it ended up doing, money is fungible, meaning movable. It ended up going from sort of light money or money where you knew where it was, right? Where you could follow you could follow the money, to dark money, right? That you couldn't follow. So the money moved. It's still all there, but now it's in C3s and C4s, which are nonprofits, and it's in super PACs, but it's really more in the C3s and the C4s. The super PACs are limited and they're transparent. But here's the thing. If you donate to a 501c3, you get a tax deduction, right? ASIC is a 501c3,
right? But
your donations are public.
Okay.
But you can donate unlimited monies to 501c4s, which are also considered nonprofits. They are, because the organizations aren't supposed to make a profit, but you can't track where the money comes from. And then if you launder it or wash it a few times, and that's where all the money is. So things like ActBlue, you can't even follow the money. Yeah, follow the money, but you can't follow the money anymore. And you go back to 2002 when that happened, and in 2004 when we were doing the Jewish outreach for the Bush re-elect, right? The whole country had a red tidal wave, except in one place, which was Colorado, which was traditionally rock red, right? And they actually flipped both state houses using this sort of soft money, new soft dark money system. And they have replicated that in 2008 to get Obama elected, and they have replicated that ever since. So people need to follow it. By the way, there's a book out called The Blueprint that tells this. It's like Mein Kampf for the Democratic money machine. Right. It's called The Blueprint. I forget who the authors are. There's two of them. But even back then we were saying, this is what's going on, guys. And but that's how the George Soroses of the world funnel the monies to these local elections, funnel monies to what did he buy? 200 radio stations just recently, got approved by the FEC right before the election.
Wild, right? I'm going to put a link to the book in the chat, y'all.
You can put a link in the chat. So in any event, so let's start and go to the elections, right? There's an article recently, and again, we've been involved in this whole Israel project. There's an article that, with Kamala Harris, it's not even an article. It's a video resurfacing where she says, and I think it was 2018, down with deportation. Right? I think it was a Jussie Smollett event. Down with deportation. It's all over the news. Everybody has seen it. But here's my question. They are trying to get people to believe in politics right now that Kamala Harris is the change candidate as opposed to somebody who's been there, right?
Already in
office.
But
the question is, I've been around politics for 30 years. Politicians can evolve. That is true. But politicians don't make sea changes.
No.
And Kamala Harris now is supposedly, for border enforcement. She's for deportation. But it leads me to the question, right? It's that old Groucho Marx, or maybe it was Chico Marx. What are you going to believe? What I tell you or your own eyes?
This is the thing, Robert. She in all these interviews, she keeps saying, my values have not changed. My values have not changed. And here's the thing. Her values haven't changed. She, for example, they figured out you didn't have to ban fracking. All you had to do was make it impossible to get your lease going and build the road to be able to create it and do all the things. So they've created a bureaucratic mess so that it has interfered with fracking or oil production or whatever. They're sophisticated enough to figure out ways around the rules or the words to still accomplish what they want. They're just liars. They are
because the
liars.
laws don't matter. Although you did see the latest, right? So the latest she came out is that Kamala Harris supports abandoning the filibuster for abortion. And so much so that Joe Manchin just came out and said she just lost my vote. She goes, I do not support ending the filibuster on any level. Right. So this is about, just, look, let the woman talk. But so here's the other thing I want to intersect with this, because she was the border czar.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to just say this, like, real talk, y'all. If people out there, like, if you see the war and the destruction and the economy and the chaos, and your top issue is being able to kill your unborn child, like, you have a mental issue that you need to talk to somebody about, because, like, real talk, people are, like, dying. Like, a lot of people are dying and getting hurt, like hundreds of thousands dying in the war in Ukraine and Russia. So, like, get your priorities straight, because if what you care about most is being able to be loose, I'm talking to the men and the women out there. I'm talking to the men and the women out there. If your priority is getting to be loose, then you have something wrong with you.
Wait a minute. No.
That's Ericka. That is not of the people. That is not Robert Chernin. That is Ericka.
Ericka, I vehemently disagree with you. And the reason I will say that it's our job, yours and mine, is not to tell people what to think and not to tell people where they should be on the issue. Our job is to basically illuminate and to say, here are the issues, here are the things to think about, make your own decision. My issue is not what they think. My issue is what they do or don't do, right? Because this is a participatory process. And the problem is that we have become so inoculated or numbed out to all these things that when you see these things going on, and there's 2 attempted assassinations of a president or former president, the media doesn't cover it. The world doesn't cover it. They don't cover the hostages either, right?
Correct.
And the public just goes on in their sort of matrix-like environment that everything is okay, and they wonder why the world is, or the country is, sort of hurtling towards a cliff in terms of civil war or whatever you want to call it, because this doesn't end. If Kamala Harris somehow wins the presidency, or if Donald Trump wins the presidency, does anybody really think that this dividedness in the country is going to end? It ends when the people can put aside their differences and say, we may disagree on these things, but we agree on these things. Let's come together. It's not our job. It is not our job to tell. I respect what you feel and I respect what you believe. But it's not our job to tell the American public what they should feel and what they should believe. It's our job to put the facts out there, with a little bit of humor and a little bit of entertainment, right? Because if you don't laugh, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to cry. Look at Israel Appreciation Day. We brought together, and I know we're jumping all over the place, so much for the script for this show, right? We brought together people from different religions, from different parts of the spectrum. And what was it we said to everyone? We don't care where you are on the other issues. On this issue, let's come together on what we agree on. And we can fight on other issues. That's okay. Reasonable people can disagree. And to put and forget about bipartisan and put together something that's nonpartisan. Because if you divide America, you can rule America. If America comes together and speaks with one voice on an issue or two or three, that's what the politicians are scared of. That's what the ruling class is scared of. They use abortion as a wedge issue.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. People who are making that, if they are a one issue voter on that, I don't understand. I can't fathom that. When you see all of the other things that are wrong, I can't understand how that is your one issue. I really can't. And I appreciate what you said, Robert. You're right. This topic makes me hot, but I also just think it's gross. It is so gross, and in a way that, I used to be pro-choice. I've talked about this. I got an abortion in my 20s, and I deeply regret it. But this was still never my one issue. I cared more about the Constitution, about my rights, about the Second Amendment, about foreign policy, and whether or not the president was going to send my brothers and sisters to war. Like, I just wish that the American people were looking at different subjects that really affect way more people in a way more serious way. That's my hope this election, that people wake up to the gravity of the choice.
Well, look, if Joe Biden got 81 million votes, I have to imagine Kamala Harris is probably going to get 120 million votes. That's my guess.
Are we taking bets? Are we taking bets right now?
And if Joe Biden got 81 million votes, there's beachfront or oceanfront property in Iowa. I'm
going to sell you. Okay, so back to the election coverage.
So, well, it's not even the election coverage. So the other thing that there was a hearing on the Hill where several ex-Border Patrol agents basically said, and it was the San Diego border crossing, that we had all these, what do they call them? They refer to them as, I think it's SIRs. Let's see. They call them, SIAs, significant interest aliens. And there was this massive increase. And the Biden administration under Homeland Security, so it's Mayorkas, right? I can't say it went all the way to the White House. I don't know that. But the Biden administration under Mayorkas basically refused to let these agents make that information known to Congress or the country. So
what?
Ex-Border Patrol chief rips Biden administration for allegedly suppressing info on migrants with potential terror ties.
What? Why?
But that's my point here, Erica. First of all, let's back up. In my opinion, this election turns on immigration. It doesn't even turn on the economy, because immigration is the nexus of all these things. Think about all the things that intersect with immigration: borders, obviously, security, taxes, rule of law, language, culture, law enforcement. All of the cultural issues intersect on the issue of immigration.
Wow. Or
illegal immigration, not legal immigration into the country, right? You have Kamala Harris, who couldn't find the border if you hand walked over there, put her hand and put her hand in the Rio Grande River, okay? Yeah. And she was supposed to solve the problem. And then you have people that are touting this, but because of Trump, they vetoed the bipartisan, Immigration Reform Act or whatever the thing was called.
You mean the Ukraine funding bill?
No. The bipartisan, right, border reform or Immigration Reform Act was going to allow up to 5,000 people a day to cross the border illegally. And that was going to solve the problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, math is not my thing, but if I do 5,000 times 365, let's see, that's 1.5 million plus another 3 million plus another, 5,000 times.
The math isn't mathing.
25,000. So it's like 1.8 million. So you were going to allow 1.8 million people under the supposed Reform Act, the bipartisan Reform Act, and say, "Oh, we solved the border process." Stop lying to us.
Yeah, what's your problem, bigot?
No. But that, well, it's Mr. Bigot. I mean, stand up and salute when you say that, right? But that's the stuff where going back to the monologue, right? Political, violence in the name of politics is okay because no one's enforcing the laws. Yeah. And even the things, I mean, I feel like I'm reading, Ayn Rand, right? The Committee for Prosperity. It's not the Committee for Prosperity, right? Well, the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act didn't do anything except shift money from where you could see it to where you can't see it. Didn't eliminate it from politics. They have all these lovely names for acts. So I sit here and I look at the fact that you have the Department of Justice who puts out the bounty letter. There's no reason other than they want to give ammunition, no pun intended, to someone else to take another pot shot at President Trump, right? And by the way, what's his name? Routh? Let me read you what I know we're jumping. Here's what he said in his letter. This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job. You want to tell me why the Department of Justice, when they didn't have to make this public, could have sent it under seal to a judge and said, "Here's why we're," and they haven't even charged him with trying to assassinate President Trump because he didn't fire the bullet, didn't fire a gun. We're going to charge him later. Really?
What? Oh my Lord, have mercy. Oh my God. We are in 1984, ladies and gentlemen. We are fully in 1984. We are fully in idiocracy. We are.
It does have a dystopian feel to it. But so when you look at the elections, right? I still want to go back to this.
Well, hang on. Can we do it after the break?
We can, but what's in Senate 118 billion border? Oh, Ukraine deal. Yeah. Yes. Lord Benjamin is giving us the high sign. Yes. I promise I won't run away. I'll be here after the break.
All right, you guys, we're going to hear from defenders of American freedom. So hang out with us for a little bit. If you would be so kind, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit the notification bell, and most importantly, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. We don't care if it's hate comments because guess what? It's still engagement and it's good for the algorithm. So I don't think people have the guts to leave us hate comments. Bring it on. You would be surprised.